Hi, Kevin here. Today we're going to fix my grandmother's buttermilk biscuits, but instead of using Crisco or lard or butter for the fat, we're going to use coconut oil. Coconut oil is a healthy fat. And the first thing you need to do is preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 218 degrees Celsius, and then take a baking sheet and line it with parchment paper or one of those silicone mats, or you could just spray it lightly with non-stick vegetable spray. Alright, so what I have here is 2.5 cups, that's 325 grams of regular all-purpose flour in a large mixing bowl. And to the flour, add 2 tablespoons, not teaspoons, but tablespoons of non-aluminum baking powder. The baking powder that has aluminum tends to, it tends to leave a kind of a bitter aftertaste, so I always use the non-aluminum baking powder. Okay, and then we need 1 teaspoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of regular table salt. Just give the dry ingredients a quick whisk. Just want to make sure that the baking powder and the sugar and the salt are all incorporated. All right, and then you need a 1/2 cup, that's 105 grams of the coconut oil. And this coconut oil is at room temperature, so it's not melted at all. And then we're going to cut the butter into the flour mixture using our fingers. And this isn't hard to do. You just mash the coconut oil and the flour together. You could use one of those wire pastry blending gadgets if you'd like, but I just find it's much easier to use the fingers. Yeah, my grandmother used to use lard when she made buttermilk biscuits, and boy were they delicious. I normally use butter because I love the taste of butter, but a lot of viewers have asked me to try making baked goods with coconut oil, so I'm more than happy to experiment. And I did try these coconut oil biscuits a couple of weeks ago, and they worked out really well. I made a double batch and I froze half of them. Okay, so what we're looking for is just a coarse mixture. So you want the flour to somewhat resemble breadcrumbs, and we are just about there. This is what it looks like. So you see bits of the coconut oil in the flour. It's just a rough sort of texture. Okay, then I'm going to add 1 cup of buttermilk. You could use just regular milk if you prefer. Pour all of that in here. And then use a spatula or your hand to mix the buttermilk into the dry ingredients. And you just mix until the dough cleans the sides of the bowl. All right. think I'm going to stick my hand in here. And just grab the dough, squish it between your fingers. There. So it has pretty much cleaned the sides of the bowl. Okay. Then, look at my hand. I'm going to throw some flour on your work surface, which for me is a marble board. Throw the dough onto the floured board. Then I'm going to put a little bit of flour on top of the dough. And I'm going to pat this out into a rough 1-inch thick rectangle. Okay, then, I think I'm going to turn the dough this way so you can see a little better. Then, I scrape some of this dough off my fingers. Then fold the dough into thirds, as if you were folding a business letter. So bring this part up to the center, bring the other end up to the center, and then turn the dough and pat it out into another 1-inch thick rectangle. And then do the same thing. Fold the dough into thirds. Flip it, pat it out. What we're doing is making layers. And once again, fold it into thirds and pat it out. You really don't need a rolling pin for this dough. Much easier, I think, to just use your hands. Much easier for me anyway. Okay, then, and if your dough is between 1/2 inch and 1 inch thick, that's fine. You don't have to be too precise here. Okay, then take a 2 or 3 inch biscuit cutter. This is a 2-inch cutter. And dip it in flour. And then press out the biscuits. And you want to press straight down. So don't twist the cutter. If you twist the cutter, it will crimp the dough and interfere with the biscuit's ability to rise. I just have to make my dough a little wider here. There you go. And then transfer the biscuits as you work onto the baking sheet. Okay, and I'm going to finish cutting these out, and then I'll come back. Okay, now, you will of course end up with some scraps as you cut out the biscuits, so just pat out the dough again and continue cutting out biscuits. I think I can do one more here. Actually, I can do even another one. Maybe I'll just pat this one out. This one will be larger than the other biscuits, and that's fine. Then, let me show you. So I've put my biscuits close together like this. They're actually touching. So when the biscuits are touching, they tend to rise taller and straighter. usually. Okay, now, hold on, I'm going to grab some more buttermilk because I want to brush the tops with the buttermilk. Okay, I just washed my hands and cleaned my marble board. Now I'm going to brush the tops of the biscuits with some buttermilk. You could use milk or cream or even an egg wash to put on top of the biscuits, or you could brush them with nothing at all. I just find that the buttermilk or an egg wash or cream helps the tops to brown beautifully. It also gives them a little bit of shine. And these biscuits, when they are freshly made, have a very nice crispy top, and the interior is soft and tender. They're just really delicious. All right, I'm going to pop these into the preheated 425-degree oven until the biscuits puff up and have turned brown on top. That's going to take, from 15 to 20 minutes, so we'll come back. All right, here are the biscuits fresh out of the oven, and as you can see, they have browned very nicely. And I wanted to show you, some of the biscuits do look like, well, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but that's perfectly fine. They rose beautifully. Okay, they're too hot to eat, so I'm going to let them cool on a wire rack for a few minutes, and then we can have a taste. Now, while the biscuits are cooling, I wanted to tell you that outside of the United States and Canada, what I call biscuits are known as cookies. In other words, in England, a biscuit is a cookie. But these biscuits are savory, just like, well, scones. So please don't confuse the two. We're not making cookies here today. All right, I'll be back in just a flash. All right, it's time for a taste. Look at how easily this biscuit split apart. That's because we made those layers. And now I'm going to put just a tiny dollop of grape jam on this half. Yum. Very good. Very nice texture. Too close. Yeah, very nice texture. It's crispy on the outside and soft and tender on the inside. Really delicious. Now, the only thing this biscuit is missing is butter flavor, but that's easily remedied. I have some butter here. Since there's no butter in the biscuit, I think I can afford to have some butter on top of the biscuit. Yeah, just divine. And there's just the right amount of salt in here, and that little bit of sugar I added actually helped with the browning. You really don't taste the sugar. These are not sweet at all. So I hope you will give these biscuits a try. I'm trying to center this a little better. Yeah, please give these biscuits a try. They're really wonderful, and they're made with a healthy fat, coconut oil. All right, I will list the ingredients I used in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching. Please give these a try, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Oh, and I keep forgetting to ask, And if you enjoy these recipes from me, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and tap the little bell icon to receive notifications every time I post a new video. All right, I'm going to enjoy these biscuits and I will see you next time. Again, thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.